What's going on, everybody? So I'm here with literally the man, the myth, the legend, all the close botters, all the bot launch, everybody in the close bot community. You probably heard or seen Max in some shape or form. The guy like behind the scenes doing some really, really crazy, awesome things. And I just wanted to kind of pick his brain today to maybe help you understand Max a little bit more and like what it takes to do what he does and help Bryce and be a part of the close bot community as well. So who are you? Introduce yourself, man, and don't be humble. I don't want you being like humble or because you do some cool stuff. So, who do we have here today? And like, yeah, just talk about it.
Man, I mean, thanks, Charles. I appreciate that. And it's a pleasure to meet you. And I hope to meet Jeff soon too. And hopefully in person as well. You guys have been such a huge part of our journey. And we can't thank you enough. Like, we wouldn't be here without you guys for sure. I mean, my beginnings are very humble. Sorry to disappoint you.
Let's talk about it. I want to know
Um,
the ins and outs of Max and how did you become a AI developer coder with CloseBot for CloseBot? Like, let's where did you start? Where did Max's journey start? Talk about that.
I mean, my story is literally like if I can do it, anyone really can do it.
Let's talk
Uh,
about it.
and I think, well, I worked at Costco just in
Okay.
the warehouse for 17 years.
Okay.
I got started right out of high school.
Mhm.
I got into real estate a little bit. I had a property and just the bills started piling up. I needed a steady income. Had a son pretty early on and a family, and then I just needed to keep paying the bills. And
Mhm.
I was happy at Costco for a long time,
Yeah.
uh, but then things kind of settled down, and I needed more professionally. And I had some friends working in tech, and they kind of inspired me to just learn to code.
Mm.
And so I started diving into that about probably like 4 years ago.
Okay.
Every spare minute I had was spent doing that, taking courses, and there's so many resources out there to learn now.
Did you
But
learn? Did you learn? Was it like a YouTube University type of situation where you're like going through YouTube how to do this specific thing and like replicating it like two screens? Like, oh, he's doing okay. Is that kind of
yep,
okay?
yeah, I tried to do it as cheap as possible, so I didn't go like the traditional university route or anything. Um, I actually did some Coursera courses. That was huge, especially getting started. Um, and then, yeah, YouTube. And then, well, when I really started, there wasn't like ChatGPT even out yet or
Yeah.
any of and I don't know, I'm kind of glad that there wasn't, because it forced me to, I don't know, I feel like it took longer
Mhm.
to search for stuff, but maybe it sunk in more. I had to think about stuff more in depth than just being able to ask. But then I'm teaching people right now as well, team members and different people that come to me, and
Mhm.
I'm like, just ask it. It's like, we used to search like Stack Overflow and
Wow.
Google, and it would take forever to get your answer. Now you can just type your answers into AI. So I don't know which is better.
Yeah.
But but yeah, so I would do those courses. And anyway, fast forward, I knew Bryce I met Bryce at our gym,
Okay.
our CrossFit gym.
Oh, you're a CrossFit guy, huh?
Yeah,
Oh, we got
yeah.
we got to get some workouts in. I love working out.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I saw you were working out with Bryce.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we definitely got to get some. We'll talk about that off because I love working out. But continue.
For
So
sure.
I had to throw that in there.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, I met Bryce at CrossFit, and we knew each other for probably about a year, without ever connecting the dots that he was into software.
Hmm.
Him and his wife Laura were into real estate. I knew that,
Yeah.
and at the time he was doing a lot of remodels on houses and stuff like that. And then one night we were out together, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm a software developer," like out of nowhere. And
Throw it out there.
this was about 2 years ago,
Okay.
and I was like, "What software?" And I was like, "I thought you're in real estate," and I was like, I'm self teaching right now,
Yeah.
and I happen to be learning the same language, Python,
Mhm.
that our whole project is built off of,
Yeah.
which was happened to be a good choice because that's what he specializes in as well. And literally the next day we talked about that night, and just wow, that's amazing that.
Mhm.
And but literally the next day he texted me and he's like, "Hey, do you want to work on a little project with me?" And that project is CloseBot.
Wow.
That's what it
So
became.
so this was 2 years ago, 2 years back. You
Yeah.
you've been self like trying to learn this stuff, going through courses, YouTube University for 2 years, learning Python, learning how to code by yourself in like a back dark room on like your spray. Is that kind of okay? And then you were working out with Bryce for a year, and randomly he just drops this bomb on you like, hey, by the way, I'm a software guy. You're like, I'm learning software. And
Yeah.
that kind of sparked this synergy, this connection of like, next day he told you you want to work on CloseBot. And was it CloseBot then, or what was it? Or he was just like, I have this AI. What was it then? Like, how did he like reenact that for me of like how he asked you? Was it just like, hey, by the way, you want to come over and code together? Or what did that look like?
Yeah. So at first it was just a setup where you could text
Mhm.
um, basically just text ChatGPT and it
Mhm.
would return the response. Um, And so, yeah, really bare bones, just getting started using the API. Really, like, I think Bryce was the first time I had ever heard of Chat GPT. He
Wow.
told me about it, I think on that same night that we got on it.
Mhm.
Or no, that was a little later, I think.
Mhm.
But yeah, it had just come out. And then yeah, he came over and just like I probably learned more from him in an hour than I had learned like in months of stuff.
Wow.
It's just different when, um, and this is my recommendation to everyone trying to
Yeah.
learn that is
Please do.
the networking and the community and really knowing someone.
Okay.
That's probably the biggest you know exponential return on that.
Mhm.
So yeah, knowing him and he showed me a bunch of stuff and setting up my environment correctly and running, cleaner programs. And I was working on a little side project as well he was helping me with. And then from there, yeah, just I didn't really have enough skills at that time to really help him
Mhm.
with the project exactly, but he was showing me his progress, working me through stuff, and then I think he launched CloseBot, and I was signed up on that, working through that. I was meeting with him on the side every once in a while to work on my project, which I still can't believe he was working with me
And
on.
wow,
Yeah, he was so busy, but he still made the time at that time
what a
to.
guy. What a
He
guy.
is. He is incredible.
Mhm.
Um, and so, yeah, from there, we just, I started to do a little bit of side work, for him. And back then, like connecting people to bots alone was quite the process. If anyone remembers that,
Yeah.
it
It was
just,
it was
I was
interesting.
doing that for people on the side for a while.
Mhm.
Um, and just getting them connected, getting them started, GoHighLevel, learning that system. Um, And then I started to, the first big project I work on was when we introduced the knowledge storage,
Okay.
because I was really into that. And I was just on my days off. I used to have Monday, Tuesdays off from
Mhm.
Costco.
Mhm.
And so I would come into his shared workspace
Yeah.
uh, on those days and work with him. And so that's when it started to really become more closed bot.
Mm.
And last year, about this time,
Mhm.
I went down to part-time at Costco. And then by January 1st of this year, I was full-time CloseBot. I
Wow.
got to leave um, Costco. And that was
Congratulations. That is
yeah,
crazy.
17 years, and it's a completely different life, lifestyle,
Okay.
like
Let, let-
working at a Costco. retail,
Yeah.
to being a software developer.
So let's talk about that because that's intriguing. Well, I want to talk about two things. Like, what did it take? Like, what was the mindset working full time, having Mondays and Tuesdays off, and learning how to code? Did you understand what CloseBot could be at that time? And were you just like, I need to pour everything I have, every ounce of effort into learning really, really how I can help Bryce and help CloseBot community as much as it was that kind of the thought process you had?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Wow, that is crazy. And so talk to me about that. Like, were there times where you're like, I don't want to code anymore? And how did you kind of get through those times of like, okay, I really need to learn. I need to learn this. I need to provide as much value as possible. What was that kind of perspective still working at Costco and coming in Mondays and Tuesdays?
Yeah. I was just so excited to be a part of it
Mhm.
at all. And as we went along, I got to do more and more. And yeah, I could see the potential.
Mhm.
Um, and just to work with Bryce, I mean, was amazing. He's just an incredible guy, and is so knowledgeable and so patient.
Yeah, very true.
He's so patient with me. Yeah, I couldn't ask for a better situation
Mhm.
to enter. I just feel it's a lottery, it's incredible.
The
And but I
universe.
have to make the most of it, right?
Okay.
I have to make the most of it, so I have to give everything I can to him and really like at that time when he hired me on fully, he was the only one doing everything.
Oh my.
And so all the support, all the code, all communication, we used to do our onboardings ourselves, office hour, everything. So I got to slowly take some of that off his plate,
Mhm.
and that felt really good.
Yeah.
And I could see, him getting to focus on other things
Mhm.
and improving the product, and we really took off in growth at that time. And like I said, it's just been a wave,
Yeah.
but really like back to me learning and self-teaching, it's just I mean self-improvement, like
Yeah.
it's a grind, and it's like you just have to be able to never quit,
Of
you
course.
know. I was like I was never even a computer guy really. I was always fascinated by it
Mhm.
and the technology. And I read a lot. I read a lot of books, and I love hearing like business stories,
Yeah.
and especially in tech. And so that was something I aspired to do. But I was like, I'm going to learn to code, and I'm going to learn everything I need to be a software developer, and I'm just not going to quit.
Mm.
That's all I said. And whether it takes me a year or 10 years, I don't know. But I
Yeah.
think if I do it for 10 years and don't stop, I'll get something.
Yeah, something come out of this
I'll get somewhere. Yeah.
for sure.
And so but you can apply that to anything,
Absolutely.
So and then yeah, you hit a lot of challenging times. I still do, like every day. And I always try to remind myself, like if it should be hard. If
Yes.
it's hard, you're growing,
Mm. That's beautiful.
So,
And so all of the happening, it's you're learning a lot, you're transitioning from Costco and you're obviously growing, you're being able to provide a lot of value to Bryce and to the CloseBot community and the company in general. And then you get to go full time. So talk to me about that perspective change, like the environment change. Like, was that difficult at all coming from working full-time warehouse for 17 years and then I'm in an office and I'm at a computer 24/7, coding and talking to Bryce because I see the little room y'all have and it's like you
yeah.
all too. So what
Uh-huh.
what did that transition look? Because there's people out there that are, working full-time right now and potentially CloseBot is they're out. CloseBot's we're helping people literally land their first client, 3,000, like not saying anything like that, but people are transitioning out of working full time to run an agency, run a SaaS with CloseBot. So what did that transition look like for you running full time to then full time developer? What did that look like?
Yeah, I mean it was thrilling, but it was also you get nervous, you're like well, imposter syndrome, right? Everyone deals with that, I
Yep.
think. And but you have to push through it, and you just have to focus on what can you do right now,
Mhm.
um, in the moment. Just give your best effort, whatever happens, right? So just keeping that mindset along the way. It's hard. You're always, you're gonna have good days and bad days, but yeah, I think that having a co-working space
Mhm.
was really awesome. We have one really close. I was commuting quite a bit further, so everything in my life was really awesome, like leaving Costco.
Mhm.
And so I was really grateful for that, not having to commute, but having a place to go and actually be on site with Bryce. Everything we can do is virtual, but actually being able to be with him every day. And we didn't even have an office at that point
Mhm.
when we first started. We were just like had our computers out in the lobby of the co-working space.
Yeah.
It's a great area here and a fun environment. But
Mhm.
then we got our office and and yeah, being able to just be able to like turn my chair around and ask Bryce stuff
Mhm.
and having somewhere to be like still structured because I working, at a traditional corporate,
Yeah.
world, you have that structure already built in. It's
Yep.
a it's a 9 to 5, type job. So,
Sure.
but keeping that was great. Transitioning, I feel like if I was just working from home, just uh, the focus maybe would have not been the same, especially having kids around and stuff like that. But yeah, being able to come here and then what now we have two offices
Mhm.
here and then our team is growing as well. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's huge. And I want to talk about the growth that we've seen. Obviously, we've been with CloseBot for about a year. It's been absolutely amazing for us. We've literally had a lead gen agency and then completely transitioned into only selling CloseBot. That's literally all I do now is I call them AI employees, AI assistants, AI employees with CloseBot to businesses and detailers, electric, you name it. I've probably built a bot for it because y'all have made this awesome software. Pat on the back to y'all. Um, but let's talk about that growth. Like, what has that been? You're full time now, and now from January, beginning of this year up to now, what has that structure been like? I know you talked about it. It's been, pretty structured because obviously you came from Costco, but like, I think I've talked to Bryce previously. Where do y'all have like caveman hours or something like that, where it's like lights are off, red lights are on, no one talk to no one. If you talk, you're getting thrown out. Like, what does that look like? What does y'all structure look like to have that much like focus to provide this much growth? Because I mean, it's been insane. The community's grown over the last year by I don't even know how much, but what did that look like as far as work y'all put in, the structure y'all had to have, the focus, the systems, the communication? Talk a little bit about that and what that's looked like for you and Bryce and just the CloseBot business and company as well.
Yeah. So I love the Bryce and I are very similar in the way we work.
Hmm.
And yeah, there's a lot of days where especially in the last like 6 months,
Hmm.
5 months, when it's really gotten uh deep in the code. We learn each other and we are both very hyper focused.
Hmm.
And yeah, it is. I love the environment of, like you said, a cave. I do like getting in there. And we used to have the lights on,
Hmm.
and then we turned them off, and we're like, why have we had these on ever?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think yeah, with code and sort of like the focus focused work,
Hmm.
um, and not being distracted.
Hmm.
That's really important to concentration kind of sprints,
Yeah.
is really like doing knowledge work. That's important to understand. Um, and I've read like deep work. I'm really a big fan, like Cal
Okay.
Newport. I don't know if you,
Yeah. Yeah.
but read some of his books and yeah, just understanding that and how you best, most efficiently work is been really helpful.
And is that like a plan thing too? Is it like we have y'all understand the project that's going to come up. Y'all put the time aside, and it's like a all out sprint, and it's like structured. It's not just like a, hey, randomly Bryce going to turn off the lights and now we're going hard. No, it's like, hey,
Yeah.
tomorrow come into work and prepare yourself to stare at a screen for 8 hours today, and we're focusing on. Is that kind of what that looked like? There was a lot of communication behind the scenes and
Mhm.
structuring our days to focus on specific issues or new projects. Is that kind of what it would look like?
Yeah. We have our systems built on like version control systems, especially for code, like with Git, if anyone knows about Git,
Mhm.
that's how we run our project management basically for software development. And but we have like a huge whiteboard in the office too, and Bryce is always writing tons of stuff on there. And before he can erase it, I make sure I take pictures of it
Mhm.
because he'll erase stuff fast. And I'm like, oh, I wish I was still up there. So I got used to making sure I took pictures of his writing and stuff. And but yeah, lots of communication
Yeah.
back and forth. And then, I have my tasks and my projects, and we're trying to come out with all these new features all the time,
Yeah.
all new technology. So there's constantly just so much we can do. And then our users are awesome at their ideas
Yeah.
and
Sure.
things we would have never even thought of.
Mhm.
And then things we have to always troubleshoot too. And um, so, yeah, releasing those, troubleshooting the inevitable bugs that come with them. And then, yeah, our communication, I'll, try my hand at how I would release it.
Okay.
And then we merge the two and
Mhm.
we go over it, and then we fine tune stuff from there. So
And
our system has evolved and developed over that time.
huge, huge. And what is trouble? So, because obviously we know software and anything in general, company, right? Stuff's going to go wrong. There is going to be troubleshooting areas. So for everybody watching who's, been part of CloseBot and we've had downtime, we've had these things where stuff needs to get fixed. Give the people a little perspective on like what Max is doing, what Bryce is doing to whenever something does go quote unquote wrong or something needs to be fixed. What does y'all's process look like? What type of energy, effort, and resources are y'all putting towards the troubleshooting and like, oh, if we have a bug, how are we fixing that bug? Is it prioritized? What does that look like?
Yeah. So at this point, like our systems have been pretty stable for a while,
Mhm.
and we haven't made too many changes.
Mhm.
And so we're really focused on when we do have troubleshooting issues, um, to especially our support team, they do an incredible job, but it's not easy to dive into the user's systems
Mhm.
so much to kind of dig into what inputs are going wrong here. It's a lot of times it's workflow stuff and or
Mhm.
conflicting information in there. And so we're kind of trying to dig in and simplify people's setup.
Yeah.
That's the best way to be able to troubleshoot there.
Mhm.
And then, but yeah, it's Bryce is self-taught,
Mhm.
I'm self-taught, and
Uh,
our code base is it's very complex,
Yeah.
and Python is great for scaling very quickly,
Mhm.
but it can be, because it's scales quickly, it can be tough to troubleshoot sometimes.
Mhm.
Um, you got to really dig in and follow every line of what's going on and why did this happen.
Mhm.
So locating those issues and fixing them as quickly as possible, is, yeah, we just put our heads down and try to solve the issue. And there's been some wild days where we just had to stop everything and but yeah, but we learn as we go, and we get better and better, and hopefully our systems become um, more and more stable.
Yeah, so no one has to worry whenever there's some troubleshooting, there's some bug because they know Max is on top of it. They know Max is over there reading through some code lines. I don't know what it code looks like. I'm not no coder, but they know Max is out there scrolling through. Oh, there it is, found it. Type issue.
Yeah.
Awesome. And what is the perspective for, I know CloseBot's going absolutely crazy. I love it. What does that look like for Max and the future jobs? I know you said you're training other people now. Is the team getting bigger? What can we look forward to? What can people look forward to when it comes to CloseBot here? Maybe we're going into 2025. Y'all got some big updates. What can you tell us? Talk about the future of CloseBot. What's Max, if you can, of course. Don't give away too
Yeah.
much now. Yeah, talk about the future of CloseBot and like what you're working on for to make people excited. I want to know what's going on. I want to get in the inside here.
Yeah, so we're really turning our head towards version 2.
Okay.
And we've been talking about version 2 for a while. And our growth and our amazing users has enabled this to become a reality.
Mhm.
And I'm just thrilled. Like I got to go recently and actually meet in person our developers,
Mm.
and they've been with us for over a year, pretty much like a year and
Wow.
a with the version 2 build out happening all that time, but they're on a limited hours basis.
Mhm.
And now we're going to be able to bring them on full time. And so
Wow.
it's going to be supercharging CloseBot. And but the framework and the ideas and the um, everything Bryce has laid out, he's so good at just executing this in his head
Mm.
and communicating with them that I just can't wait to see version 2. And I've got to see it behind the scenes a little bit of
Mhm.
what's going on so far.
Mhm.
And working with the developer team now. I'm transitioning to working with them more on
Okay.
this code base. It is different. And but we're gonna have way more control, much easier to troubleshoot.
Mm.
Um, and it's going to be uh, just so much more of a robust system, easier for our users, but way more powerful on
Mm.
what it can do. Um, and yeah, I'm so excited. You guys are going to love it.
Is there anything in particular where you're like, you've seen CloseBot V1, you've obviously built a lot of it, had a huge role. Is there anything you can give us about V2 that you're like, y'all are gonna really like this specific piece?
Yeah, there's a lot of things, but I mean, so when I got started, it was knowledge uploads
Mhm.
and making that applicable for everyone to use and for your bots to use that knowledge storage and use it accurately. And it's good.
Mhm.
Um, but I've gotten to work with our V2 team on on the start of using there's been so much more advancement in that technology. So that being able to upload documents and have the bot retrieve it very accurately and have the ability to have that knowledge storage be more dynamic. Right now
Mm.
it's static. You could have, you know, the users can upload um, spreadsheets or live website data, data that's kind of more like an inventory of products that get updated dynamically, being able to pull that in. And also, using webhooks to do that as well.
Yeah, that is huge. So you're saying dynamically being able to change information that your close bot, your bot that you have set up can pull from the knowledge store. That's in V2. You're saying that's going to roll out in V2.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is huge because I see that question a lot. People ask, well, how can I pull live data? Well, I have a SKU of 500
Hmm.
different items. So you're saying you're going to be, if it updates over here on this website or in this spreadsheet, CloseBot can, oh, this has been, wow, that is
Right.
huge.
Yeah, it's a game changer. And being able to pull it in more accurately as
Okay.
well is a huge part of that. So it's giving the right answers and the right product information,
Mm.
pricing information, stuff like that. And then yeah, but being able to use those webhooks as well along the way as you're building out
Mm.
your objectives. When you want to pull information from any kind of webhook,
Oh my.
is another way you'll be able to do that. So it's going to be. incredibly powerful. And yeah, I'm just so excited to see it come to life, you know?
That is huge. Okay, sorry, I lost track. That is, I'm excited about that because there's been times where, people ask this question of like, I want to grab this piece of item and this cup. Wow, that is going to be so. I can't even think. I'm sorry, I'm stuttering here because that is huge. Okay, talk to us about, I mean, sorry, that is so awesome. I'm so excited. I'm not even kidding. That is huge. And that's just a portion of it, right? That's just a small piece of,
Yeah.
okay, don't give them too much. Don't give them too much. We'll hold it off on there. So I want to talk about like the perspective and mindset for anybody watching, whether they're using CloseBot to start their own SaaS, whether they're watching this because they want to become a developer and start their own software, whatever that looks like. What piece of advice, if you could talk back to your old self in Costco, learning how to code, what advice would you give yourself and for anybody else that are listening and like that really wants to go all in? What advice would you give them?
Um, like I said, like the biggest level up for me, I mean, was meeting Bryce, honestly. And but that's like networking, right? So reaching out, getting involved in whatever it is you want to do, get
Mm,
involved in the community, meet people. The networking part is huge. And I mean, ideally you find kind of a mentor.
mm,
And I don't know, like I'm passing that on now.
mm,
Um, and people want to do it. They want to teach you. And whatever it is, it doesn't have to be code, but it can be any skill set. But having that mentor um, is probably the most powerful thing.
mm.
But then also just like accept that there's gonna be
Yep.
it's gonna be hard, it's gonna be challenging. Like if you're doing something that really provides value in the world, if it was easy, everyone would do it,
I
and
was just
it wouldn't be valuable.
I was just about to say the same. I say that all the time. There's I don't know if y'all I pull all-nighters. There's times where I didn't sleep. There's times Jeff and I are sitting up and we have, I did 77 calls last month with clients and helping people and it's like if it was easy, everyone would do it. I love that it's hard. I love that there's not a lot of people willing to put the work in and do what I'm doing. It sets us apart and we're creating an impact. And what y'all are doing, what CloseBot has done for us and provided this alley and like I like to say this road for us to walk on, this road for us to drive on even. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. And like to just beat the dead horse here, like if it was easy, literally everyone would do it, put the work in, right? Is that kind of to
Yeah.
just go do it?
Yeah.
Mhm.
As long as you go into it with that mindset, and you'll have to remind yourself of it too, when it gets hard, like you have to remind yourself why you're doing it. It's worth it.
Mm,
And just push through that pain.
mm,
Um, when you're learning something hard, when you're learning something complex,
mm,
pushing through that pain. And I tell that to people on our office hours calls, and I still get to do the demo calls.
mm,
So I get to see all our new users
mm,
first, kind of. And I love that. And so and I tell them a lot, like I don't, I almost cringe when I hear people say like I'm not techie, or this is AI, this is scary, like this is too, and really if I can do it, anyone can.
mm,
And it really is just diving in and trying to suppress your fear, because
mm.
it's just the fear that's gonna stop you. And if
100%.
you just keep going, you'll be amazed at how far you can get. And then we're all here, and you and Jeff are here to help along the way too.
Mm,
And but if people just dive in, it's amazing. Like some of our users, I did onboardings for so long too, and what they ended up building and doing, it's inspiring, like to see.
it's-
And in our whole community,
yeah,
like we've built this product and people have taken it and built incredible stuff with it. So we all inspire each other too, you
indeed.
know?
Absolutely. And for a new user, let's say new users watching this, somebody that's used Go High Level or hasn't used Go High Level, but they've seen CloseBot, they want to, either use this for our own business or resell it to other businesses, whatever it may be, but they're new to CloseBot. Obviously dive into it like we talked about, but is there any specific resources, any specific areas where you should like, hey, definitely start here and work your way? Obviously, Max is telling you he does the onboarding calls and demo calls. Definitely do those. Go to the office hours with Max. But is there any other resources, recommendations of like, hey, when you start, do this first. This will really help you out?
Yeah. So everyone, when they sign up, they get invited to the demo call.
Mhm.
And I go over like everything in there. And I always tell them to like, it's only a half an hour and it's a lot of information. But everything we have on the site in our help and resources, every article from, the quick start
Mhm.
to much more in-depth customizations and how and the possibilities
Mhm.
um, that just reading through those articles or watching the videos.
Yeah.
If you're more of a video, I was more of a video person when I was learning,
Hmm.
um, and following along. That it not only will show you how to do stuff, but give you ideas of the capabilities. Um, so doing that, looking through that documentation, the Facebook group is amazing. Don't be afraid to ask any questions in there. And then, yeah, and any issues you're having, you can message us and support anytime. Our support team is incredible. And and then, yeah, I think, we're building CloseBot and V1 and V2
Mhm.
where it's not designed for you to need to be an expert in anything. You
Mhm.
don't need to be techie. It's getting close to being pretty promptless too. And oftentimes like less is more.
Mhm.
That's a thing that I try to tell people so much with because they're coming from other chat services,
Oh, yes. Talk about
like
it.
they're trying to tell it everything in their prompting. They think it needs all this information. And CloseBot is really the opposite. It's
Hmm.
it's less like I'll see people's setups and it'll just be like clean, and it like prompting, just really a few sentences on some of the stuff and then test it out and you're gonna see that it performs.
Yes.
The answers are incredible because we're using these incredible LLMs that are trained on the entire internet. You only have to give it a little bit of what it really needs to know.
Mhm.
And then our back end, all the algorithms we're using to inject prompting to keep your AI focused. Um, it really is intended to be pretty much out of the box, ready to go.
Mm.
And it'll just book those appointments. It's magical,
One
set
of the
up. Yeah.
one of the things I tell everybody, you said less is more. We tell everybody all the time. And if Max is great, we love getting to know. If this is the only thing that you take away from this call is less is more, please, that is literally it. We tell everybody simple sales, like simple sales or simple scale, simple sales, simple sales, simple scale. That is
Yeah.
like it is just keep it simple. Whenever you start thinking, and you'll hit this point, what I hit when I first started using CloseBot, it was like, oh my gosh, I got wide-eyed, and then I was like, what else could it do? Don't go there. Don't keep it simple.
Uh-huh.
Keep it simple foundationally. If you want to start exploring in the future, do that. But as Max said, less is absolutely more. Simple sales, simple scales, simple sales, vice versa, however you want to flip it. But
Yeah.
that's a huge, huge, huge piece. Again, if you watch this and this is the only thing you take away before using CloseBot, is definitely less is more. Our prompts are literally like one word. It's a sentence and that's
Yeah.
it. And it'll do its thing. And you'll be surprised. We've
Yeah.
built bots in 15 minutes and blown people's socks off because of how crazy all the back end and what y'all have done, what CloseBot's done, the team has done to provide that foundation for it to be really, really plug and play. So thank y'all for that. It's changed my life.
Absolutely. Yeah. And thank you guys. I mean, you guys have learned so much. I mean, you guys are expert bot builders. So, yeah, and it is the real power is the scalability of these bots, is the outreach
Mm.
where, they your bots, and it might make some mistakes in conversations here and there, but
Mm,
it's at the point where it's going to still make less mistakes than a human would, and
absolutely.
especially a human that you've hired and trained, and they're not going to have nearly the outreach ability
Mhm.
that the bot's going to have. And so,
24/7, 365 days a year,
right,
take bathroom breaks, not going to scroll on TikTok on its off time. It's
right.
there.
And you have these appointments that the bot booked like for you, and they're ready to go, warm leads, with whatever qualification or information that you've gathered along the way. One of the slogans, like when I think of code, is from a book. It's called Automate the Boring Stuff.
Mhm.
And that's really like the basis of all technology, is we're just
Mm.
trying to automate, the things that we don't want to do anymore. And so, what becomes boring is getting further and further, right? And so that's what we're trying to do, is try to get it so we can just do the fun stuff, the cool stuff,
Yeah.
have people on your appointment, and then take them from there.
Mm.
All done by the bot is so powerful.
Definitely huge. Well, thank you so much for your time. It was great getting to know you virtually. We'll definitely be meeting in person very, very soon. Get some CrossFit
Yeah.
workout. They'll teach me about some code. Maybe I can learn some cool stuff from you. Is there anything else you'd like to tell any of new CloseBot users or CloseBot users that have been with us since the very beginning? Anything you got?
You guys are awesome. I know I'm not like very active in the group, but I do read what you guys are putting out there. I follow it. And I love to see the community help each other. And then we have our systems as well to support you guys and come into support. And we have a great team there to take care of you guys. But you guys, all our users, they inspire me.
Mm,
And I just want to do everything I can to make CloseBot the an amazing experience for our users.
mm.
And it's been a pleasure just to get to know everyone and see what everyone's doing with it is just mind blowing. So
Super awesome.
thank you.
That's pretty much it, guys. Thank y'all so much for watching. We got to learn the man, the myth, the legend behind the scenes, Mr. Max. He did a lot of the back end stuff, so definitely go see what he's done. Use CloseBot, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching.
Thanks, Charles.
Of course, it was good, man. That was really awesome.
Ah,